Good afternoon, Canberra, and we are back on the right track with your host, as always, Maggie Wright. Today we're going to be talking a little bit of cricket. And we've got my mate Ben here to help me out because I am useless with cricket. Ben, how are we doing this morning?
I'm doing so well. How are you, Maggie?
I'm doing great. I've just realised I've said morning and afternoon and the same thing. It airs in the morning, but it airs in the afternoon, but we're recording in the morning.
Yep.
So it's good to hear that you're doing well. Cricket.
What do you want to know?
I got a bit involved with the Ashes as of late because, who doesn't in Australia? Eventually, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
I learnt how to score things kind of a little bit.
Oh yeah, that's everyone in junior cricket. You always get handed the scorecard, and everyone needs to go to the bathroom at that point or leave or something like that. Everyone hates it.
Yeah, trying to understand wickets and runs.
Oh,
and
the
difference between the two.
It is a bit confusing, the scoring, the way you score and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I've kind of figured it out.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Do you want to try to explain it?
So wickets when you hit the stumps and you get a wicket or the barrels off the sticks.
Yep.
Slay. And runs are when you run back and forth.
Yeah. And then you can get different runs if you hit the boundary or if you go over the boundary rope, you get 6 and 4.
Yep.
And then there's very stupid ways that you can get out as well. Like if you take longer than a minute to come onto the pitch after the next person's come out, then you're out.
Really?
Yeah. So if someone gets out and you're next in and you take longer than a minute to step over the boundary rope, you're out. If you swing at it and you miss the ball and you swing again, you're out. If you hit the ball and then you pick it up and chuck it to the bowler, you're out as well. There's a lot of stupid ways that you can get out in cricket. Yeah, exactly.
That last one fair.
Yeah. Exactly, yeah. So there's really stupid ways to get out in cricket.
There you go. I didn't even know. So, yeah, hitting it and picking up the ball.
Yeah,
so if you, nick it slightly, maybe.
Yeah, well, normally, if you hit it down and it's right in front of you and, all the fielders are, 10, 20 metres away, you just want to be polite and pick up the ball and chuck it to the bowler. A lot of the time you can get out for that if you don't ask the umpire or the bowler if it's all right first.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
So, the umpire has a lot of power going on in cricket then?
Oh, there's a lot of power with the umpire, and sometimes there's some bad calls being made from the umpire. It's a lot of things are very, what's the word I'm looking for? Very one side or the other.
50-50?
Yeah, it's like a 50-50 call, and somehow they make the wrong call every time, as umpires do, as referees do. I haven't seen much of cricket, to be completely honest with you, but I love it when the ref will put his head down and look all serious then just stick one finger up. And then and then everyone goes, "Wow!" He's still there yeah, man, I did it. Oh, 100%. There was a big one back probably 3 years ago in T20, which is 20 over form, really short. You just whack the ball, see how far you can hit it. One guy got a wicket and the umpire went to put his finger up and then realised it wasn't out and went to scratch his nose.
Oh, God.
So all the bowler saw was, him lifting his hand. He turned around, started celebrating, and, the umpire's going, "Nah, mate, I'm just, got an itchy nose," So this team's done this big celebration. Batsman walking off and he's like, "No, mate, come back, you're still in," So sometimes they don't really get that one finger up correctly.
Jesus. You had one job.
Exactly. It's either out or it isn't,
So, yeah, T20's short cricket, isn't it?
Yeah, so I've got a new roommate recently. He's American and he's a big baseball fan, and he's come just as the Ashes were finishing, and all he knows right now are just test match form, which is 5 days, batting, blocking, all that kind of stuff, just boring cricket. I love it, but I'll admit it's very boring.
I know some people who love it and will have it on.
I'll watch it all 5 days.
Yeah, no. Man.
But I was telling him when it gets to BBL, T20, that's
BBL.
What, big bash league, yeah.
Nice.
Exactly. When it gets to the T20 format, that's what you're going to love, just absolute, carnage. It's good. It's good fun.
I think when I wanted to play cricket when I was little and did have a whack at it, funnily enough. But I like the Perth Scorchers.
Yeah.
Are they doing okay in the league still? I don't know.
Yeah, I think they've won the past 3.
Nice.
Yeah, maybe. Oh, they've at least got to the final the past 3. Them and my team, and they seem to beat Sixers a lot, Sydney Sixers.
Yeah, so. I've heard, the fiery hot pink.
Yeah, the fluoro pink. Yeah. It's good fun.
Sydney Sixers isn't a bad name.
It's not. You'd imagine they'd hit a few sixes, wouldn't you?
And they don't.
No, not really.
That's really unfortunate.
Well, they put all their money into getting the Australian side on their team. So they have all the big guys from the Australian side, and then throughout the season they're all away, playing for Australia, and we just have the worst players in the league.
The reserve league.
Exactly. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, do they get caught out very often?
Like called out.
Like caught.
Oh yeah. They go big. They end up not making it. Yeah. That's the same with every team, though.
Just when we had a break here in the studio, we were talking a little bit about the Women's Big Bash League that's coming up. Thoughts for, who's going to win it? Do you have a prediction?
It's a really good pick. I'm going to go with my Sydney Sixers all the way.
Is that bias? Or
100%. Yeah. 100%. I think as well, there's been a lot of injuries with the preseason training. A lot of the big names have been called out.
There you go.
Yeah, so after the T20 World Cup for the women's, they've a lot of them are injured at the moment. Yeah.
Do you know if Elise Perry plays?
She does.
Bash League?
Yeah, she plays Sixers.
All right, I think I might have to go Sixers then for the women.
Well, yeah.
I'm going to have to go dress up in hot pink.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Big Bash League starts for the women on the 19th of October, I believe. Yeah. So coming up very, very shortly.
Yep. A lot of home grounds as well are at Monaco Oval.
There you go. Yeah. So get on down, go see the women, smash it out.
It's good fun. It's always a good time.
Well, we won the World Cup for cricket, didn't we?
Yeah, the Women's T20 World Cup in South Africa. We won the final by 19 runs, I think. It was we're very dominant in women's cricket.
That's it.
Yeah.
Any sport, actually. Last week we talked about the Diamonds with netball and how well the Aussie women did, the Matildas, in soccer.
Insane.
Yeah, but the cricketing world is just absolutely getting smashed.
Yeah, in the women's cricket, we were undefeated for the past 3 years.
Yeah, wow.
I think we lost our first game. I'm not too sure if that's a correct start. I know we lost one of our first games in a long time. In England a couple of months ago, but
that happens.
Yeah.
As the soccer fans know too well, losing to England it just hurts that little bit more.
Always hate losing to England.
Yeah. So T20, does that mean anything that you know of?
So T20 means 20 or 20 overs.
Oh, okay. So that's how many people, how many balls you get to bowl?
So an over is 6 deliveries.
Okay.
So after one bowler bowls one over, and then you swap over. So whenever there's that over, that counts how long the game's going to go for. So in that 20 over, there's 20 overs. So there's
6 times 20.
120 balls.
Yeah.
And then there's the 50 over, which is 300 balls. And then there's test match or 5 day, which is...
And that just goes for 5 days.
Yeah, so normally there's 90 to 100 overs a day. And then it goes on for 5 days.
I feel like there's so many different ways that you can count things.
Yeah.
In cricket, do you 100%. Count it with overs? Do you count wickets? Do you count days?
Yeah, and that's one of the controversies that come up as a umpire. They get a call when the game's done. So a lot of the time, if you're playing with bad light or if there's a lot of cloud coverage, they'll call the game early because you can't see the ball. It's a very conditioned sport. If it's too wet, you can't play. As soon as there's rain, you have to stop the game. If it's too dark, you have to stop the game. There's a lot of factors that it's a very hard game to play, Do
you reckon they can make a fluoro ball?
Yeah, they do. So
they do?
Yeah, they started something called day-night test matches where it starts at 2 p.m. and goes till 10 p.m. And they use this fluoro pink ball so they can see it better at night. Yeah.
And the umpire does all right?
Yeah, the umpire does all right. So it's designed to go until late. And normally that just gets called off with the overs. I like those better, honestly. It's easier to watch. Normally throughout the day when it starts at 10, you have uni or work or something like that, you can't really watch it all day. And then 2 p.m. to 10 p.m, you get to watch all day. It's so much fun.
I mean, with my experience with sport and weather, it'd be swimming, which I did for about a decade growing up, which sounds like a lot, but I started when I was 5. So
oh wow, yeah.
So I only went till I was about 15, and then everything went south. But I remember you couldn't go in the rain if it was lightning or thundering.
Yeah.
I remember there was a big hailstorm one year, 2018, I think.
Yeah. Had to get called off?
No.
No, really?
There was a coach on the sideline going, "Let the kids finish," because it just so happened before the hail started.
Yeah.
I know this is totally off topic, but this is what this podcast is about, really. So this hail's come down, and it was these people's first race. So 50 metres is your usual, like, stock standard. That's how far you race for. They had just graduated from 25 metres. So they've just graduated from doing half the pool to going to 50, and everyone's so excited about their first 50 metres. Yay! And this hailstorm's come out of nowhere.
Oh no, There
were 3 levels of concrete blocks on the bleachers, and we had towels in front of kids crying, and boom, crash, and golf ball sized friggin'.
That's horrible.
Yeah, it was torturous. And this coach was like, "Let the kids swim," and all the older kids were just diving in and like grabbing them and pulling them out.
Yeah, as they should. I mean, I wouldn't want to be hit with a golf ball hailstone.
Yeah, no, it was a rough night, and it was freezing.
Yeah,
like summer, a hailstorm. It was insane. It wasn't even close to being the end of the season. Like,
yeah, right.
Coming into winter.
Because I know in summer the water's still pretty cold, because it like the warmest time to swim is in autumn, because you have that water takes that so long to like actually heat up and hold that heat that over summer it's still still pretty cool from winter and spring, so it wouldn't be a nice place to be.
Yeah, and that's if your pool is heated.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Well. Oh, my Lord.
Depending on the luxury you get out in the sunny west, it just depends if it's heated or not. And like the closest thing we could get to an indoor pool was the 15-meter one at Forbes, that when you walked in looked like it'd be like an old abandoned jail with all the mist going and all the rest of it.
How good?
It was dodgy.
How good?
And the water was so chlorinated that you had to wear goggles. Like.
Oh no!
Like even if you close your eyes under that, oh my god, your eyes were gone.
Eyes are red.
Anyway, cricket. Yeah, because I've seen them. They pull out a tarp thing to put over the green.
Yeah, so they pull out. There's like this mesh that they pull out, and then they pull out a bigger tarp to go over. I don't know what the mesh is for. I know the tarps to keep the wet off, but they also have this little car that goes around with a rope to keep all the water off the grass. Like it'll come around just skimming all the water off the top of the grass. So,
like a squeegee kind of thing.
Oh, it's like kind of. It's like a rope, like just a proper mesh rope that they pull between 2 cars, and it when it goes over, it flicks all the water up for some reason, and it stops the water from absorbing into the soil. I don't know how it works, but you'll see them do it.
Well, I mean, if you were playing cricket, there's a lot of sports you can play on mud. Cricket's probably not one of them. Yeah,
the ball's like leather and chalk, so as soon as it gets wet, and it doesn't bounce unless the wicket's hard, so if you're playing on mud, it's just going to hit the ground and,
Because I know indoor cricket is a thing, but could you technically build a big enough stadium to play cricket inside?
I wonder. That'd be pretty cool.
Like with turf?
That'd be pretty cool.
So then the weather wouldn't affect it.
Yeah, with turf, I imagine. Yeah,
can you play it on turf?
You probably could. Yeah, there's so sometimes when you're playing like club cricket level, they won't do like proper like soil wicket. They'll do that artificial turf wicket, and it works, but at like the higher level, a way that a bowler will get wickets is by deceiving the batsman through like swing and bounce and all that kind of stuff. And if you have a proper wicket, you get a lot of that deception because, it's like there's going to be softer spots, harder spots. When there's cracks, the ball's going to hit a crack and, move out the way.
So that's why they have the whole this is what the pitch is looking like today.
Yeah.
I was like, who cares? But actually, no, everyone really actually cares.
Yeah, it really matters. Like if there's grass on it, it's going to hold moisture and then the ball's going to swing more. It's like really things that you wouldn't expect to have, to worry about. You have to worry about. Yeah, it's weird.
There you go. So if you wanted to psych out the batsman, what would you tell them that the ground's doing?
Oh.
You'd yell the ground's been a bit bipolar today.
Yeah.
Mate.
You'd say it's a bit up and down.
Dry. Yeah.
It's a bit up and down is what you'd say, because sometimes, you don't want the ball. You want to expect what the bounce is going to be, because there's an intimidating technique where you do a bouncer where you try to get the ball near their head, and if a ball's coming at you, in professional level, they're bowling 150k an hour.
Yeah, gee.
If a cork ball is coming at you 150k an hour towards your head, it gets pretty, yeah, it's pretty scary. I wouldn't want to do it anyway.
I didn't realise there was such intimidation techniques in there.
Yeah. Even there's stare downs, there's fights as well.
Yeah, so cricket, we're talking, there's a T20 World Cup for the men's coming up, correct?
There is, yeah. It's a bit of a weird setup. We're playing South Africa, and then we do a tour in England, and then we go to India for the World Cup. So we're playing actual 6 T20s before the World Cup, bit of a pre-season thing, which I'm very keen for. It's a lot of cricket in a very short amount of time.
There you go. So you're really playing world cricket that's not in the World Cup.
Yeah. So we're playing 3 games in South Africa, 3 games in England, and then going over to India for the World Cup.
Yeah, wow.
Oh, yeah.
So it's India this time around?
Yeah, India, which we played a test series in India a while ago, and the pitches were horrible. The ball was hitting the ground and like rolling, and one of the pitches in India got taken off, saying it's not a world-class pitch anymore because it's that bad. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they're going to play a very fast format game on a very slow-moving pitch.
I was about to say, have they fixed it up since then, you reckon? Or?
I hope so. I haven't been watching. There's the IPL, which is the Indian Premier League, and it seemed to be pretty good when they were playing there, but who knows?
Yeah, IPL sounds like one of my teaching acronyms that I have to learn in class.
Does it? What does it stand for?
PL is like... this is putting me on the spot. I'm like, I can't remember what I ate this morning, let alone what I learned in class last week. Yeah, catch me teaching. Yeah, I'm hoping I do like a kind of a Wiggles thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they all met teaching.
Yeah. They did to Macquarie Uni.
Yeah. So hanging out there, but yeah.
Hoping to join a kids band, are you?
Oh, maybe not a kids band, but hoping that entertainment takes me somewhere. Maybe.
Fair enough.
From the teaching degree. It seems to work. It's a tried and tested.
You've got this beautiful studio right now.
Yeah. 87.8 UCFM. They've really looked after me, and yeah, it's awesome having a bit of a podcast going on.
Absolutely lovely.
Yeah. So we've talked about who's potentially going to win the women's BBL.
Yep.
Do you reckon the men have a good shot with the World Cup?
Well, I hope so. I think we definitely have the potential to get up to the semi-finals at least. It's just whether we're able to get through. We have a lot of young blokes and a lot of blokes that should retire but haven't.
Who's that?
David Warner.
You know what? Even I know his name. That means he's been around for a while.
Oh, he said he was going to retire a long time ago and then hasn't. Now he's just saying he's going to retire just to stay in the team, I reckon. Like, he's announced his retirement in like February. So I think that's just him trying to go, please just let me keep in the team before I can see myself off. But yeah, I think there's a lot of guys that they're just holding on to, hoping that they do stuff, and they haven't been doing anything recently. So it's going to be, yeah.
You know that meme with like the poorly drawn person with a stick, and he's like poking something?
Do something. That's exactly what it is.
So so he announced it in February.
He said he wants to retire on his home turf. So there's a game against Pakistan in the SCG.
And when's that?
It'll be end of January. So start of February, end of January.
So he announced it a year early.
Yeah. So he's been kind of holding on, going, please let me stay in the team, you know.
Is it going to be another John Farnham, like the last tour, this is my final? Oh, no, it's not.
Yeah, exactly. That's going to be exactly what it's going to be like.
So do you reckon he will retire in January?
Yeah,
okay.
I reckon he will.
Do we need to put bets on it?
Maybe ask it to the crowd if you reckon he'll retire.
Yeah, all right. That might be the question for the week then. As always, Instagram at ontherighttrack.podcast. We're asking this week, will David Warner actually retire in January when he said he's gonna? Or well, that's his...
Or is he going to do another year?
Is he going to do another year?
Yeah. Hope not. But it's very exciting. We've got a lot of big hitters. And I reckon India probably, though, will be my call. India.
Well, yeah, it'd be nice for them to win on their home turf.
Yeah, it would be. And there a very good team as well. They're very, very good. Got a lot of young new blokes that are coming through.
Awesome stuff. We were talking about wickets with artificial turf and regular turf.
Yep.
And I just had a question.
Go on.
Is it like, do they have like a block of artificial turf that's like concreted in?
Yeah. So
and like they put it in the ground, or do they just smack the things in the normal ground? Or
so for the club cricket one, it's very common to find just a bit of concrete with rolled over turf on top to make the ball bounce more, because then it's going to be a real consistent bounce. But But yeah, I don't like the concrete turf ones because I'm a bowler, so I like when the batsman doesn't know what's going on. And on those pitches, it's like you know what's happening. You know, it's a very flat, dry, bouncy wicket, and it's not too much fun to bowl on.
I've definitely drawn on those ones in chalk and probably upset a lot of people Saturdays and Sundays when they've come to play cricket as a child.
Distract the batsman helps me out.
Yeah. Yeah, just all random bluey characters. Yeah,
this is how you're spending your Saturday. Yeah. Just like that.
I kind of want to do that again. Like, that was just the pure innocence of a child, just drawing things on a cricket pitch because it was fun.
Good fun. Always the chalk on the driveway. That was a lot of fun.
So in the break, we were talking about some of the greats in the game.
Yep.
One that has to be mentioned is my good mate who does the flipper.
Yep, Shane Warne.
I'm so glad you said his name. I don't know if you can see looking at me. I forgot it. Okay. I was waiting for you to say it.
Yeah, cool. I was waiting. I didn't know if you wanted me to say it or
I've forgotten it. Anyway, Shane Warne, of course. Yep. How could I forget? So the flipper. I know it was joked about on Kath and Kim a lot.
Yep.
But I don't actually know what it is.
So the flipper is like a variation of bowling. It was just a way of... So he was a leg spinner. Whenever the ball bounced, it would spin away from the bowler. And at the time when he started, there were really only 3 or 4 different variations where, you can either not spin it at all, spin it fast, spin it left, and spin it right. Those were the main ones. And then what he found out was he could do the flipper, where it looks like he's going to spin it left, but what happens is the ball just doesn't bounce. It just dies. So it would, instead of bouncing and going left, it would kind of go left and stay real low.
Oh.
So you'd bat, you'd go on the back foot trying to defend it, and the ball would just die and go under your bat. Or, you try to... It also spin real far as well, which is why he was so good. He could control how far it spun. Like, he was like, I don't care if the batsman knows when I'm going to bowl, as long as they don't know how far I'm actually going to spin it. You know? So he'd spin it heaps and, let it die, which is why he was so good, just being able to deceive the batsman with that spin.
He was just the master tricker. He
just knew everything, yeah.
Have you seen that Kath and Kim episode with Shane Warne?
I have not seen it.
Oh, it's funny as. I'm pretty sure he's a Shane Warne lookalike, like that's what he does as a job or something.
Yeah.
And he pretends to know nothing about cricket, and they play backyard cricket with him, and he just pretends not to know anything. And Sharon shows him the flipper. So Sharon's a big cricket nut.
Yeah.
She's like, all right, you have to hold the ball like this, and just throwing it around with Shane Warne. Oh God.
Oh yeah, didn't mind a bit of Kath and Kim.
I love it.
I only watched a few episodes, but I
made sure I watched it after we lost Warnie.
Yeah.
I made sure.
No, fair enough. Yeah, as you should.
Yeah. Kath and Kim. You can't beat it, honestly. The Americans tried to do their own version of Kath and Kim.
Did they?
Yeah, but Kath wasn't tizzed up to the nines.
Yep.
She didn't have a foxy hair.
Yep.
And Kim wasn't fat, so all the jokes that they make, were pointless.
Yeah, weren't really landing. Hey, yeah, right.
Yeah. As a bigger person myself, when I saw the jokes they were trying to make, I'm like, that doesn't really work.
That's a shame. No one does it like the Australians.
I didn't even see Sharon, I don't think, on that show.
Oh.
And Sharon's like the best bit for me.
Yeah?
I love Sharon.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know enough about it to have a favourite character.
Yeah, that's her. Magda Zabansky. There's so many different characters she's done. I don't know if your mum's ever said to you, I said pet, I said love, I said pet, I said love.
No, she always just the look at me, look at me, yeah. She'd always do that one. I knew where that one was from.
Yeah, that's a Kath special, that one.
Yep, yeah.
Yeah. So another great that we can have a little bit of a chat about is Don Bradman.
The Don.
Yeah. The Don.
Yeah.
He's got his own nickname.
He's the cricket. Whenever they talk about batting averages, they'll be like, oh, he's the best after Don Bradman. Like whenever you say he's the best cricketer, you assume after Don Bradman.
Yeah.
He's that good. Yeah.
Didn't he have a nearly perfect batting score?
Yeah, he had a batting average of 99 point something. And he had a batting average of over 100. And in his last game, he got out for a duck, which is 0.
Yeah.
So batting average dropped. All he needed was like 40 runs or something to maintain his batting average of over 100, and
he got out, so close.
Got out for nothing. Yeah.
Wow.
So he's insane batsman.
I think that's my favourite bit about cricket is when I see the duck come on and they play the music.
Yeah,
the
right.
The duck comes on the screen and someone's gotten out for zero.
It's the best bit.
I don't really care who it is. It's just, oh, look, there's a duck.
There's a duck, pick it up, yeah. Do you know how the duck, like how it got called, called a duck?
Do you know the story?
Yeah,
Go
so
on.
in early 1900s, all that kind of stuff, when cricket was, getting big on radio and all that kind of stuff, they'd say that when you got out for zero or nothing, it looked like a duck egg. And
yeah.
So they'd say, they got out for a duck egg, or they got a duck egg. And then over time, that got slowly changed to they got a duck, which is, I don't know. I find really how terms got made from cricket really interesting.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of things that are circular.
Yeah.
And a duck egg would not have been the first one coming to mind.
It's not the most circular thing, though, is it?
No, it's more ovular, if you will.
That's what I was going to say.
Ovular.
Yeah. Very not circle. Yeah.
I suppose it depends what kind of font you're using, if it's circular or not, really. I was just thinking about it. I have seen some pretty circle zeros.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's just kids' handwriting that I've seen. or my own, actually.
You've seen a lot of kids' zeros, yeah.
They look more like O's.
No, yeah. I mean, my handwriting's pretty sloppy. I think mine looks like a bit of a duck egg.
Yeah, I think Mum was hoping I'd be a doctor, to be honest. That's how terrible mine is. But here we are, behind the mic. And love you, Mum. I love you. Anyway. Today, a weird, wacky sport that we're going to finish up on, cheese rolling.
Yeah, we're talking about it during the break. I'm so invested in this.
Cheese rolling.
It seems so interesting.
So cheese rolling is when they get a 9-pound round of double Gloucester cheese, they roll it downhill, and the first one to finish, cross the finish line in this race, gets the cheese. The cheese gets a 1 second head start, though. So, and with the speed it gains, it's nuts. So the aim of the game used to be, when it first came about, was to actually get the cheese, actually catch the cheese. But it became very dangerous, and everyone was spectators were getting hit by it. There's been several broken bones, concussions, and all sorts of other fabulous injuries from that. So in 2013, they replaced it with a foam replica, and then made the rules that you had to just finish the finish line at the bottom of the hill, which it's still a very steep, dangerous hill, to be fair.
I can just imagine people back in the old days when, they were trying to catch the cheese, just diving, trying to get it, They're that close, all they have to do is just fly down the hill.
Didn't you say that somebody got struck by lightning?
Yeah, I was looking at that earlier. Someone, I'll get it back up. It was... Yeah, so 4 adults and 4 children were zapped by lightning when a sudden thunderstorm interrupted the 1982 cheese roll. What an adventure. So
they would have still had the cheese, and they would have still had to catch the cheese at this point?
Yeah, so it would have been, I'm assuming it would have been during the event, and 8 people struck by lightning.
At once, or...?
Oh, I don't know.
That's fair, because I don't know. Would it be one thing of lightning and it struck that many people?
Yeah, probably. That probably would make sense.
Yeah, because imagine 8 people in the one spot getting struck by lightning. That's
crazy. Yeah, it would have to be. Yeah, they'd have to. I imagine there's a lot of spectators. People have just gathered into one spot and
boom.
Thunderstorm. So
mosh pit at the cheese rolling.
Yeah, get keen, get rowdy.
So there's a couple of schools I thought with how this came around. About the 15th century is when we're looking.
Oh,
so
okay.
1400s, I think that's how that works, because we're in the 21st century. Yep. 1400s. Apparently, the first one is this cheese rolling event was used for maintaining grazing rights on the commons. So who got to divvy up what, and who got to put their cows where, and all the rest of that jazz.
Yeah, right.
And then another one's a pagan origin, so a New Year kind of thing. After the winter ends, they would scatter things on the hill to encourage the fruits of harvest. I don't know how that's turned into cheese rolling, but apparently that's how they've put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah. What kind of skills do you reckon you'd need for cheese rolling?
Sturdy legs.
Sturdy legs.
I don't know if that's a skill really, but sturdy legs seems very important. Good balance.
Yeah, I reckon depending on how many rocks there are on the hill, the strategy just might be tumble down it. You know?
Titanium ankles.
Be one with the cheese.
Be one with the cheese.
Exactly. Curl into a ball and just roll down the hill.
Oh, imagine your back. Just, I mean, like everything would hurt, but imagine your back.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
There's like little jumps as well. That would. Yep. No.
And
probably
it's
not the strat
like,
then.
Yeah, it's not just like the lovely university grass that we have here that's just nice and manicured and
nice
flat,
and
no
well-maintained.
rocks. Yes.
Yeah.
No, it's rocky. It's got hulls in it. It's got divots in it.
Yeah, probably not the strat then.
No. I've seen many of these on YouTube of just absolute grown men looking like they're about to cark it, coming down this hill.
This might be my new passion now.
For cheese.
Get rid of cricket, into cheese rolling.
Well, I have said on previous podcasts here at On the Right Track that I will start a numerous amount of sports committees here. You see, why not throw cheese rolling into the mix?
May as well. Off Black Mountain, maybe.
Maybe.
Down Black Mountain.
Well, we've got a couple of bigger hills down near the sports ground.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Unless you want to hit the road. That's the only thing. Coming down off the Brumbies training ground.
Block the roads off.
You won't get hit by traffic, but if you hit the tar, it's going to hurt.
It will. Didn't think about that.
All right. We've reached the end of our time today. I'd like to thank Ben for joining us in the studio today.
Thank you for having me.
No worries. I've loved talking about cricket.
Same. I talk about it too much.
Yeah, I mean, here's the place.
I was going to say, it's a good time. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'd like to thank all the listeners out there who've tuned in to our show today. Always appreciate you putting your input and texting me on Snapchat, telling me that I'm doing a good job. It's good to know. The question of the week, just to remind us before we head off, is will David Warner actually retire in January when he has a home game? So DM me on the right podcast. At ontherighttrack.podcast and let us know if you think he's actually going to retire. Thanks for listening in. If you're listening in on Spotify or if you're listening in through the radio, 87.8 UCFM, and we'll see you at another podcast date.